Hello students, myself Shilpa Sharma and I welcomes you all in the series of DSD lectures. And today my topic which I am going to discuss are test benches and component declaration and instantiations. So let's discuss about the test bench. What are test benches, why they are used and how they can be written. Look, the VHDL is used in simulation and synthesis. And what are simulation? What is simulation? Simulation is the execution of model in software environment. This is how it is done. It is done using LDAC VHDL simulator. In this context, test bench. What is test bench? Test bench is a program whose purpose is to verify the behavior of system is as expected. The test bench is used in LDAC to simulate our design by specifying the inputs into the system. Whereas, what is synthesis? Synthesis is a process of translating a design description to another level of abstraction. That is from behavior to structure. Means we are making hardware of this device, this program. We achieved synthesis by using a synthesis tool like Foundation Express. So, if we talk about test bench, so test bench is what? A test bench is a model that is used to exercise and verify the correctness of a hardware model. The expressive power of VHDL language provides us with the capability of writing test bench models also in the same language. A test bench has three main purposes. These are first to generate stimulus for simulation, that means waveform. Then to apply this stimulus to the entity under test and to monitor the output responses. Then third is to compare output responses with expected known values. So, to implement a test bench for any hardware, we first assume an input waveform which is stored in a file called vector file. And during the implementation of test bench, we have to read the input waveforms from this vector file and store the generated results or output waveform in another file called dump file, or to dump the results in it. Therefore, the following implementation steps of test bench are: first, assume the vector file and read an input waveform from vector file using a function called readLine until the end of file is not encountered using behavioral modeling. Then we will apply this input waveform to the actual input of hardware. Then we will store or dump the output signal or result into another text file. So in this way we can use the test benches. So if we wanted to write a test bench general, so how we will write a test bench? Let's suppose here is an example, entity test benches. Here no port statement is necessary, as in the main program we are specifying the port details. So here no port statement is necessary. So entity test benches, we will add this entity. This entity name has to be same as written in the program. Now we will specify the architecture. In this architecture example is test bench. Here we will specify the component. The ports for all the components will be specified here. Then we will begin and write a program for generate waveforms for test. then we will instantiate component, then we will monitor statement, then we will end this example. So in this way we can define what? The test bench. In the test bench we need to also to define or specify the wait statements, like wait for 10 nanosecond or wait for this much time. So if we want to write a test bench for 2 input AND gates, let's suppose, then how will it be written? We will define the entity AND is, then we will AND that entity. Then in the architecture part, first we specify the component of AND gate. These components will be having 2 inputs A and B and 1 output C. We will AND these components. Then meanwhile, if we require to define the signal variables, then we can define those. Then in the next part, we specify the process, then begin. Then in that begin part, if we generate the output or any signal, then after completing that generation, we will specify wait for this much time, and then we will end that loop, then process. This is required to generate a waveform. So in this way, we will initiate the test bench. In writing a test bench, we just need to know about the basic structure of the circuit. So this was all about writing a test bench. Now we will move on to the other topic of component instantiation. What are component instantiation and component declaration? Both are correlated to each other. Means we need to specify, we need to declare the component, as well as we need also to instantiate. Component instantiation is creating an instance of specific component by associating its local parts to signals to top level entity. It puts the component used in executable form for the top level entity. Here port maps statement is used for component instantiation. Component instantiation is included in the executable part of the architecture body marked by the keyword begin. Like we define syntax, entity name is, port declaration, then AND entity, then we will define the architecture name of some name is. Here some signals are declared, then we will write the begin. In the begin part, we specify the labels x1, x2, L1, L2 like. Then we generally writes component name, then we port map those components. Then in the bracket side, we will write a list of actual signal statements through which port mapping is to be done. And then we will end the architecture. So this way we define the component instantiation. Component instantiation statement connects a declared component to the signals in the architecture. Structural VHDL defines behavior by describing how components are connected. So mainly component instantiation has 3 parts. One is label, second is component type, whether it's OR gate, AND gate, OR gate, whichever is used. Then port map. Here label is what? Label is used to identify unique instance of component. Whereas component type is the select the desired declared component. And what about port mapping? Port mapping is the way to connect components to signals in the architecture. So this way we can define the component instantiation. See, U1 is the label, REG1. Register 1 is the component type, means we are using the register. Then we will port map. How will we port map? We will connect D to D0, clock to clock, then Q with Q0. Here the pin clock Clock is mapped with clock. So clock on the left side is the pin or register 1, where the clock on the right side is the pin which is connected to real clock. So when instantiating components, local and actual must be of same data types as well as compatible modes. Locally declared signals do not have an associated mode and can connect to a local port of any mode. Here labels are, why we use labels? Because labels are used to provide internal documentation and may be used with concurrent assertion statements or concurrent signal assignments, or process statement or loop statement, or an generate statement. And it has to be used with, means must be used with, component instantiation statements. See, here is an example, we can take it, but for now let's move to another example. Here I am defining a component mux21 mux inv01p. Here mux21 is port map with a circuit of mux which is having input A0, A1, S0 and so on. So now in this way component instantiation can be done. Now if we wanted to declare the component, then what is component declaration? First we need to understand a component declaration simply specifies the external interface to the components in terms of generic constants and ports. An entity before using the components is required to declare the components in its architecture declarative section, or alternatively in a package which needs to be included in the top level entity with use clause. The declaration of a component includes the specification for its input, output ports or similar line as an entity declaration with the type of data accepted as ports and mode of ports. So we do not need to describe any corresponding implementation, since all we are interested in is how the component is connected in the current level of signal or design hierarchy. This means component declaration makes the architecture completely self-constrained, since it does not depend on any other library units except its corresponding entity interface. Let us look at the syntax rule that governs how we write a component declaration. See, component identifier is, then we can define the generic. It's upon us that if we wanted to define the generic, then it's not compulsory. We do not need compulsorily define to define generic. Then port. Port means whichever inputs and outputs are used in the component, that needs to be defined here, and then we will AND these components. A simple example we can take here is the example of flip-flop. Component flip-flop is, if we are taking a D type of flip-flop, then one input, one clock, then and two outputs Q and Q bar will be there. We do not need to specify the Q bar output, as Q is sufficient for us as it is the true output. We do not generally consider the low output or false output. So generic, TP rope, T setup, threshold is defined here, which is a delay underscore length type. Now port, clock, which is in bit, is separately defined because for this we need to give a clock signal. Then clear in bit, that is 0 or 1, then D input bit, then Q output. Then we will AND this component, which is a flip-flop. So in this way we can declare a component type that represents a flip-flop with clock, clear and data inputs, and with a data output of Q. It is also having a generic statements for parameter of propagation delay, the data setup and data hold. So this was all about component declaration and instantiation and also about detachment. In the coming videos, we will start writing a VHDL program for various small components like adder, subtractor, encoder, decoders and many more. So for now, thank you.